He was just a kid, a global superstar, and everyone around him had an agenda.
I started valuing the wrong things in this business because there was things dangling in front of me. If I get this, I'll be happy. If I do this, I'll be happy. I never had that security in a family.
But that was only the beginning of what he'd witnessed.
They control me. You get what I'm saying? They could control Shaq. They could control Charles Barkley. They could control LeBron James. They could control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
But not you, man.
But they can't control me.
3 names, 1 network, and a warning that nobody wanted to hear. By 2009, Justin Bieber was the biggest teenage pop star on the planet. YouTube discovery, Disney connections, endorsements, the works. He had it all, or so everyone thought. But what was happening behind closed doors in the studios, at the parties, in the mentorship circles of Hollywood's most powerful men was something else entirely. Something darker, and one person knew it better than anyone: Justin Bieber himself. Let's start with what we know. In recent years, as lawsuits and investigations have piled up against some of Hollywood's biggest names, one pattern keeps emerging: a system, not accidental, not random, but deliberate, orchestrated. And it's been running for decades. The system works like this: find young talent, make them dependent, control them through money, fame, and fear. And if they start to slip away, isolate them. Surround them with people who profit from their compliance. For Justin Bieber, that system had a name, and it had a face.
I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So, and we gonna go full crazy.
That voice belongs to Sean Combs, known to the world as Diddy. And what you just heard was him, in 2009, announcing to the world that he had legal control of a teenage Justin Bieber for 48 hours. No parents, no oversight, just Diddy and the kid he'd been mentoring. And according to insiders, those 48 hours weren't about music lessons.
In the movie 48 Hours, right now he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream.
Can't disclose. Those are the key words. What happens during those 48 hours? What was being done to a 15-year-old boy that couldn't be talked about publicly? That's the question that's haunted Bieber's career ever since, and he's tried to answer it multiple times, but nobody was listening. Here's what makes this story so dark. Diddy wasn't working alone. He was part of a much larger machine, a network of powerful people producers, executives, celebrities, who all had a stake in keeping young artists vulnerable, dependent, and compliant. At the top of that pyramid sat Clive Davis, the legendary music executive, the man who discovered Whitney Houston, the man who shaped generations of artists. And according to multiple sources, including industry insiders and investigators, Clive Davis wasn't just managing talent. He was controlling it, protecting it, and in some cases, exploiting it.
That the objective of Bad Boy is to kill talent. We don't want talent to the Bad Boy. Talented motherfuckers think they gotta say. Oh, a talented motherfucker will tell you, I'm gonna turn in my album when I feel like it. He said, but see, if we get people with no talent, and then we make them look like stars, see, we have total control. Because without us, they can't be the shit. He said, and that's how we're gonna run this label, and we're gonna run these motherfuckers into the ground, and I'm gonna make all of you rich.
That's a direct quote from inside Diddy's Bad Boy Records. The strategy: find people with potential, but no foundation. No family security, no real education. Make them stars, make them rich, but keep them dependent, keep them scared, keep them silent. Justin Bieber had all those vulnerabilities. Young, discovered on YouTube, no father figure, desperate to prove himself, the perfect target. But here's where the story gets even more complicated, because Diddy wasn't the only powerful person grooming young artists. There was another player in this game, someone who seemed harmless, someone who seemed like a friend, someone the entire country invited into their living rooms every single day: Ellen DeGeneres. For nearly 2 decades, Ellen was America's sweetheart, the friendly face of daytime television, the person who talked to celebrities, did funny pranks, and seemed to genuinely care about people. But according to the Epstein files, the documents that recently became public, Ellen's name appears closer to that criminal network than anyone expected. Not as a victim, but as a connector, an enabler, someone who smoothed introductions between powerful people and vulnerable talent.
Truth is, I am that person that you see on TV. I am also a lot of other things. Sometimes I get sad, I get mad, I get anxious, I get frustrated, I get impatient, and I am working on all of that.
That apology came only after 36 of her own employees spoke out. They described a toxic workplace, harassment, inappropriate behavior, fear, and according to one producer who worked with Ellen for 17 years,
phony,
liar, hypocrite. That's my reaction. She's known about this for 17 years. She's created this culture. I was there from day one. We were all petrified of her. She was not nice.
But Ellen's alleged cruelty to her staff was just the surface. The real issue was her connections, her reach, her ability to move in circles that included some of the most dangerous people in Hollywood. And here's what ties it all together. Justin Bieber was in those circles too. Think about the timeline. 2009, Bieber is discovered. He's brought into the industry. Suddenly, he's everywhere. Talk shows, music videos, award shows. He's a commodity. And every powerful person in entertainment wants access to him. Diddy wants to mentor him. Ellen wants to have him on her show multiple times. Clive Davis's people want to sign him, work with him, control his sound, his image, his career. And for a kid without a strong family structure, without real guidance, it's overwhelming. It's seductive. It's dangerous. Listen to Bieber describing what that feels like.
There was a time where I was sipping lean, I was popping pills, I was doing Molly, shrooms, everything. And it was just an escape for me. You have all these people around me just kind of hanging on, wanting stuff from me, knowing that I was living this lifestyle that they also wanted to live, drinking, smoking.
An escape. That's what drugs became for him. Because the reality of what was happening around him, the manipulation, the control, the exploitation, was too much for a teenager to process. And the people around him, they weren't protecting him. They were using him. Now, here's where Clive Davis comes in. Because Davis wasn't just a music executive. According to investigators and insiders, he was something more. A gatekeeper, a protector of powerful men. Someone who made sure that when things got too dark, when there were scandals or crimes, they stayed hidden. Look at the evidence. Multiple women associated with Diddy's label filed lawsuits alleging abuse, trafficking, and exploitation. But who backed Diddy up? Who protected him? Who made sure the lawsuits were settled quietly, with NDAs that silenced the victims? The answer is people like Clive Davis, people with power, people with connections.
It was a girl that came out, Cam, 2.5 years before Cassie came out, and went on a major platform and told him how he was kicking her, beating her, and made her get rid of 2 kids. A girl named Gina came out on a major platform that he was dating, that she had texts from Cassie, and her and Cassie was texting each other back and forth, and Cassie was saying, I don't hate you, I know how he is, and they was talking about each other and talking to each other. She came out 2 years ago. So you tell me, Cam, why didn't nobody take her case?
Maybe they didn't believe, I could guess. Maybe they didn't believe him because he's puffy. He got a lot of star power. He can fight back,
She had no lawyers or nobody that was interested in going through that battle.
The powerful protect their own, and anyone who tries to speak up, they get silenced, discredited, isolated. And Ellen's role in all this wasn't just about workplace toxicity. It was about access. It was about being the friendly face that made powerful people seem harmless. That made it easier for vulnerable young artists to trust them. So let's connect the dots. Clive Davis discovered and protected generations of talent and allegedly protected powerful men who exploited that talent. Diddy used his mentorship position to groom young artists with the tacit approval of the industry, and Ellen used her platform and her charm to move through those circles, making introductions, smoothing the way for people to get access to vulnerable talent. And caught in the middle of all this, Justin Bieber. But here's what's important. Bieber didn't stay silent forever. He's tried to warn people multiple times, in interviews, in statements, in the way he's distanced himself from the industry's inner circle. Listen to him describing what he finally realized. He's trying to tell us something, that the industry is dangerous, that young artists are being manipulated, that powerful people are turning their backs on them. And he's not alone. Other artists have started speaking up too. Cat Williams, Jaguar Wright, people who've been inside the system and seen what it does.
Control, you get what I'm saying? They could control Shaq. They could control Charles Barkley. They could control LeBron James. They could control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Well, not you, man.
But they can't control me. You
Not
see, it
you.
ain't no name I won't name.
Bieber's saying it outright. There's a system of control. It's designed to manipulate and break artists. And most people in the industry fall in line, but he's refusing to. But refusing to cooperate has a cost. Bieber's been blacklisted in certain circles. He's been discredited. People have spread rumors about him. And all the while, the people who exploited him, Diddy, Ellen, the Clive Davis machine, they've continued operating, protected by their wealth and connections, until now. Because in 2024 and 2025, Clive, the walls started crumbling. Diddy got arrested. The Epstein files became public, revealing coded language and networks of exploitation. Ellen suddenly fled the country, and suddenly, people started asking the questions they'd been silenced from asking for years. What really happened to Justin Bieber? What really goes on behind the scenes in Hollywood? And who else is complicit?
I was, but I'm a victim. I'm a product, I should say, of these systems that we all survive in, which is, this sort of capitalist-driven, corporatocracy kind of driven way of merchandising and commercializing every thought and fear and moment that we have in our lives, and never giving us a chance to slow down.
He was trying to tell us the whole time. He was a victim of a system designed to exploit young talent, a system run by people like Diddy and protected by people like Clive Davis, a system that Ellen DeGeneres was part of, whether she fully realized it or not. But here's what makes this story so important. It's not just about Justin Bieber. It's not just about Diddy or Ellen or Clive Davis. It's about a culture, a structure, a way of operating that has been normalized in Hollywood for decades. Young artists are brought in. They're made dependent. They're surrounded by people who profit from their compliance. And if they start to wake up to see what's happening, to try to resist, they're isolated, discredited, made to feel like the problem is them, not the system. But Bieber never fully accepted that narrative. And now, with more information coming out, with other victims speaking up, with investigations finally happening, people are starting to listen.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters, and
he's speaking out. He's distinguishing himself by refusing to be silent, and he's calling for others to do the same, to protect young artists, to recognize grooming when it happens, to understand that mentorship and exploitation can look very similar on the surface. So, what do we know for certain? 1. Diddy used his position in the music industry to groom young artists, including Justin Bieber, under the guise of mentorship. 2. Clive Davis protected powerful men and maintained a system designed to keep artists compliant and profitable. 3. Ellen DeGeneres, whether knowingly or unknowingly, was part of a network that granted access to vulnerable talent and smoothed the way for exploitation. 4. Justin Bieber was caught in the middle of all this, exploited, isolated, and forced to numb himself with drugs and alcohol. And 5. The system is still operating. Different names, same tactics.
There are certain people that hang out with certain groups of people, and you see them. They're in pictures, they're on the red carpet, they're around. But then things start popping off. You don't see those people. They're not in those pictures. They're not on the red carpet. They're nowhere around. So where the hell were they? They're at every other party. They're in every other picture. They're standing by you everywhere else except for when this person went missing or this person got shot.
It's a system of misdirection, a network of powerful people who distance themselves when things go wrong, who appear friendly and supportive until it's time to move on to the next victim. And Justin Bieber is finally naming it. The story of Justin Bieber, Diddy, Ellen, and Clive Davis isn't just a celebrity scandal. It's a window into how power operates in Hollywood, how exploitation gets normalized, how victims get silenced, and how the system protects itself. But it's also a story about resistance, about one young man who refused to be fully controlled, who spoke up, even when nobody was listening, who tried to warn others about what was happening. And now, finally, people are listening. The question is, what happens next? Does the system change? Do more victims come forward? Do we finally hold the powerful accountable? Or do they disappear from the spotlight, citing health reasons or retirement, and then resurface years later when public attention fades?
Nobody ever tells you that, when you get to the top, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's just more of that, if you want it.
That's Bieber's final message. The thing nobody tells you about fame. There's nothing there. No security, no love, no protection, just more of the same exploitation, dressed up in different faces. Unless you refuse to play the game, unless you speak up, unless you decide that your integrity is worth more than the money, the fame, the access, that's what Justin Bieber did. And that's why his story matters. What do you think? Are Diddy, Ellen, and Clive Davis part of a coordinated network designed to exploit young talent? Or are we connecting dots that shouldn't be connected? Let us know in the comments below. And if you've got information about what really happened to Justin Bieber during those 48 hours with Diddy, we want to hear it. For more stories about the darker side of Hollywood, hit that subscribe button. And remember, the truth is out there, but only if we keep asking for it.